7:38, you're watching and listening to Breakfast with Stephen and Anne live across the UK on both your TV and your radio.
Before we get to the papers, let me just read you this. This is from Jackie. I listen to GBNEWS every day, whether I'm upstairs, downstairs or in the car. I particularly love your show. This is a rundown of my day yesterday. Wake up early to you on TV. Then listen to you in car on way to hospital appointment. Listen to you on headphones whilst having my 3 weekly treatment. My little nurse said to me, whatever you're listening to, we all need some of that. You haven't stopped smiling. And it was the two of you with the lovely Stephanie. So uplifting.
Oh.
Isn't that lovely? Thank you so much.
Really nice, Jackie, and I hope your treatment's going well.
Yeah.
Oh, how nice.
And we'll pass that on to Stephanie as well. She's in about a few minutes.
You can take us anywhere.
Yeah.
Now, let's take you through the papers this morning. Former Conservative advisor Claire Pearsall and the late editor of the newspaper, Benjamin Butterworth, are both here. Good to see you both. Claire, speed limits in the Telegraph.
Yeah.
Or speed limiters, we should say.
Speed limiters. Now, this is quite interesting. The government wants to bring in speed limiters on cars to fall in with EU regulations, which I find very strange considering we've now left the EU and we can do our own thing. I'm not sure the sort of safety aspect of this, and Edmund King, the president of the AA, has sort of queried how safe this can actually be and the chaos on the roads. If the speed limit on the road, so if the technology telling your car from the road what the speed limit is and your car's software is not up to date, then surely this is going to be a problem. And we've seen that smart motorways don't particularly work, and I'm not sure that smart cars are really the way forward.
So what are they saying? They will absolutely limit you to the speed limit?
That's right, and it will reduce. So if you go from a 60-mile-an-hour limit down to a 40, then it would naturally reduce. And I can see the benefits of that when you're talking in urban areas, outside schools, then yeah, I think that's a great idea. But I also don't feel that you need to take it away from the driver. I wouldn't feel particularly safe if my car was then pushing back against me, trying to get round something. Sometimes you do need to speed up, slow down against the speed limit. So I'm not convinced over this. I think
so you never tried it then? My car does this already.
Oh,
you've got one?
Ah, you see, I don't have a very...
Well, all cars have speed limiters built in already, because there is a rule: no car can go faster than 155 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So all cars have that limit built in. It can be removed. Technically, it's only like a computer program, but it can be removed already. But you see, in my car, like a lot of them now, I just set it onto Distronic Pilot or whatever it's called, and it goes at the speed limit. And if there's a car in front, it slows down, and if the speed limit changes, it alters. And
Really?
all I have to do is steer. It's very nice.
What do
you
you
turn it off.
I would have thought this move is to put it in all new cars.
Yeah.
I think that sort of devalue. I think people won't want it.
I mean, I've never driven a car, which is in the best interests of everyone who does drive cars.
Okay.
But, you know, surely you must feel kind of out of control in a situation like that.
No, because there are always step rounds, so you can always take control.
Right.
But actually, it's very handy because it slows you down in plenty of space. The gaps between the cars are bigger, and all. It's great.
But if there was an object coming at you and you really needed to put your foot down to get round it, would it let you do that?
Yeah.
Even in this proposal?
In this proposal, I would imagine there's probably got to be some sort of safety thing where you double clutch, not double clutch, double accelerate, and it'll cut through it. I would think.
It just takes away the whole experience of driving, and I think that's just such a wonderful thing. And I've been driving.
Yeah, but you shouldn't want to be driving over the speed limit.
No, you
shouldn't be wanting to drive over the speed limit. That's quite correct. But I also think that you need to be able to control the car, and I think to take that away from you, and you are literally just sitting there with a steering wheel, your attention is going to be elsewhere. It's going to be on the music, on the radio, or whatever. And I just worry that it takes away that sheer enjoyment and skill of driving.
No. Well, I would have to. I mean, I'm all with you. I like driving, and I like the control. But I have to say, these systems don't actually take away your pleasure or your concentration, because I use it every day. But,
and you know your cars.
I know my cars. But I know what you mean. You still want a bit of the freedom. So I mean, I'm not.
A totally different subject in the Daily Mail.
It is.
Nude no more.
Well, here I am as your resident makeup correspondent for the morning. So, Stiller, I think is that how you pronounce it, which is an M&S makeup range, has, instead of the word nude to describe a colour that we would think of as sort of a whitey creamy colour,
creamy beigey colour.
Instead, they're changing the names to opaline and almond, rather than nude, because if your natural skin colour is not the ones of...
Yeah, if you're a black
me,
person, nude is a completely different colour.
Exactly. So they've changed this. And look, I have to say, I know a lot of people are probably going to look at this and think woke gone mad, and maybe that's what I am like. But it strikes me as quite a good idea.
Me too.
Because it quite simply isn't nude for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's quite an outdated description, I would say. And I think the makeup market has been revolutionised actually in recent years to recognise that there are so many different skin colours and to have much better range for...
And it's not just makeup, though. I mean, you can buy all sorts of clothing, any sort of clothing, not just underclothing, which is described as nude. And
But is that
that's
not,
beige.
but is that not the point now, that nude isn't a description so much as a colour now?
Yeah, and I think that nude is for me, I think it's a description, and you can buy lingerie in different nude skin tones. And why don't you just think, well, my colour is going to be different to your colour, etc. And you look at that and you think, well, these nude sort of palettes that they have.
It was a trendy name, I suppose, when they first thought of it. It's sort of slightly edgy name, but it actually wasn't accurate at all.
Exactly.
It's a bit... No, I'm not keen on this.
I think it's one of those things that actually I'd never thought of it, and I dare say most black people had never had any great worry about the word. But when you think about it, it is actually quite an odd way to describe something that it is not nude for a massive number of people.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we get a bit worked up about these things. I remember when I first started working in TV and I had to do my own powder, and the powder they gave me was called Sun Frolic, which was... I ended up looking like our backdrop, really. It was orange. I looked Trump-esque. But Sun Frolic was our...
Maybe they'll bring out a new colour called Trump. What colour would that be?
Yeah, it goes in orange, but you got white bits around your eyes. Just a very quick look at the male working from home, Claire.
Yeah, now this is always going to divide opinion, and I have to say, for transparency reasons, I'm in the office 2 days a week in Westminster. So, but, I'm not working in a civil service department such as the DVLA, where there are enormous delays because people are at home, they can't access the paperwork. So I do think civil servants need to get back to the office. I think there is a way that you can hybrid work, but at the moment it doesn't look like it's working. So, yeah, they need to get back in, get off their pelotons, get back to the office.
Yes, I tend to agree with you. Look, we've got to leave it there for now. Claire, Benjamin, thank you both very much indeed.